SeatGeek. For all your ticketed events, from sporting to concert outings, SeatGeek has you covered. They even conveniently color-coded each ticket on their website from amazing to worst, so you can easily know which are the best deals. SeatGeek, the smart way to buy. Save $20 off your next ticket purchase with the promo code. Hey, everybody, I'm your host, Grant. Got also known as the Big Cat. My cool cat, put your paws up. If you rock with the Big Cat today, we're going to talk about how to rebuild the Carolina Panthers. Follow the 49ers blueprint. But first, before we get started, do you love the Carolina Panthers like I love the Carolina Panthers? Yes? No? Maybe? Do you love the Carolina Panthers like I love the Carolina Panthers? If you love the Carolina Panthers like I love the Carolina Panthers, hold on, breaking news. The Carolina Panthers with the 7th pick are trading it away. It looks like they're trading it for damn. We'll talk about how to rebuild the Carolina Panthers. Let's get into it.
That boy is good.
Before we get started, make sure you subscribe, click the notification bell so you don't miss a video. Now today we're taking a different approach. We're taking a GM / vice president / owner / head coach approach. We're not doing X and O's. We're doing GM work. So with that being said, Tepper, come close. If you're looking for a assistant GM after today, go ahead and put me on a payroll. I'll do it for half of whatever them boys are charging you. Now, we're looking at the 49ers because the 49ers is a team, the last team that went from rags to Super Bowl contender. And that's what we need right now. So if you look up on your screen, let's talk about the 2015 year. We're going to talk about the end of that, and then we're going to lead into the 2016 year. If you look up on your screen right here, you'll see the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah. They were 14th in pass blocking, 30th in run blocking, and 6th in penalties. Now, that is very crucial because everybody knows when you're a winning team in this NFL organization or league, you must win in the trenches. And it looks like they were mediocre at best when it comes to pass blocking, and they were pretty bad at run blocking. Also, they ended up finishing 5-11. They were 4th in the NFC West 2015. If you look up on your screen as well, you'll see they were 31st in total offense. They were 29th in pass offense. They were 28th in passing defense. They were 29th in rushing defense. Okay, and again, they were 21st in run offense. And they also were 29th in sacks as well. So, with that being said, I mean, that's not a winning team right there. You can't do nothing with that. So, this is a ground base to start off when it comes to fixing a team. And you're going to see that what they did in 2016.
Stick around.
So, now that we established that winning starts in the trenches, let's see what the 49ers did in 2016. If you look on your screen right here, you'll see where they signed a total of 9 linemen before the April's draft in 2016. They signed 4 offensive linemen. They signed 5 defensive linemen. Whether it be via extension, whether it be a free agency, or whether it be just flat out re-signing these guys, they're adding depth to that line on both sides of the ball. And this is what you need. When the injuries happen, when people get tired, you need guys to be next man up, and you need to have quality depth. So kudos for that GM to sit around there and try to make that good move. Now, also, there are times where trade opportunity presents itself. If you look back on your screen, the 49ers traded out of their 2nd round pick, their 4th round pick, and their 6th round pick for the Kansas City 1st round pick to bring in another offensive guard. Okay, so they brought in an offensive guard by the name of Joshua Garnett. And if you look on your screen again, he was a guy who was injury prone his 2nd year. He could never recover. But their mind, they were in the right mindset, okay? So a lot of you guys are saying, trade out of this, get more draft picks. More draft pick doesn't necessarily mean, you know what I mean, that the guy's going to be healthy or the guy's not going to have off-the-field issues. Well, you're going to see some of that later on here. But their mind was in the right spot, and sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you crap out, and that's what happened here. After about a year, he played 15 games. The next year, he tore his ACL, couldn't recover, so they ended up trading him. So they traded a 2nd round, a 4th round, and a 6th round spot. They gave up 3 picks for a guy who's no longer with the team. So it's a risky move, but again, your head was in the right spot. And listen, DeForest Buckner, the defensive end they got with their 7th round pick, if you look on your screen right here, he has not had less than 61 tackles since being drafted. He also had a career high in 2018 and 12 sacks. Okay, so again, they hit the jackpot with him when it comes to defensive tackle, which is surprisingly a crazy number to have over 61 tackles all 4 years you've been in the league, all 5 years you've been in the league. So, again, they got one side of the ball right, the other side, they still kind of struggle.
Hey, take care of this for me, will you?
So, the other unique thing about the 2016 season for the 49ers is they hired a new coach, okay, by the name of Chip Kelly. He went 2-14 his first year. He also was a guy out of college, had Colin Kaepernick as his quarterback. Colin Kaepernick played 12 games. Blaine Gabbert played 6 games. And again, They were 31st in total offense. They were 32nd in total passing offense. They were 4th in rushing defense. They were 32nd in total defense. They were 14th in passing defense. They were 32nd in rushing defense. And they were 22nd in sacks. Okay, so again, you're seeing in the number of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. They have 4 categories under Chip Kelly where they went down from the year before. Now, this was the first year coach. They fired their coach after 2015 season. Chip Kelly came in, and a lot of you guys feel like, damn, man, this is going to be like Matt Rule, college coach coming here. After 1 year, they fired Chip Kelly after going 2-14, after the previous coach in his last year on the team went 5-11. Now, check this out. Again, Colin Kaepernick was hurt, and Blaine Gabbert stepped in as well. But there was certain things that they didn't have in this season. They didn't have stability at quarterback. They didn't turn around they had the pass offense, and they also struggled with the run defense again. So they got rid of his ass.
Damn.
Now, because team owner John York and Al Guddio, the team president, got rid of the GM and Chip Kelly, it also allowed for them to open up the door to sign the new GM, John Lynch, on January 29, 2017. Now, this was a very crucial move because John Lynch was a superstar when it comes to that Buccaneers defense in the past, a guy who knew player relation, player personnel, and also he got a chance to put his hands on what can make things work on that defense, to fix that defense as well. Now, also, right after he was hired, they turned around the day after the Super Bowl and signed Kyle Shanahan. Again, a lot of you guys cut jokes about Kyle Shanahan. He can't win a Super Bowl, but the fact is, in the last 5 years, Shanahan has been to 2 of the Super Bowls. So, obviously, he knows how to get there, just he doesn't know how to finish. So, good moves that are building towards the future. Now, this is 3 years in now. This is what I want you Carolina Panther fans to know. 3 years removed from that 2015, 2016, 3 years removed from 2015, these guys are still building, all right? So I don't want you guys to get caught up in how long it's taking. I want you to get caught up in the moves that they're making to better this team for the future.
Message.
So just like previous GM and just like the previous head coach, Chip Kelly, they also made moves prior to the draft. If you look up on your screen, they did their best to go ahead and re-sign offensive pieces, defensive pieces. They released veteran players. They went ahead and signed guys like Jeremy Curley, who's going to be a staple in their offense. They added depth at the quarterback spot when it came to Matt Barkley. Again, now they were the 32nd ranked offense. They added my man Aldrick Robinson. Also, if you look on the screen as well, Marquise Goodwin, they re-signed these guys. Taking care of in-house guys who've been there. Brian Hoyer, Kyle Jakuza. You're adding pieces, re-signing pieces. This is what you do when you're rebuilding a franchise. A lot of you guys just say, just get rid of everybody. And you don't want to just get rid of everybody. You want to take the pieces and look over your roster and find out what can be salvaged and what can't be salvaged. And then the rest has to go. So again, John Lynch in his first year there, making critical signings on both sides of the ball, including 49ers defensive tackle Chris Jones, and also guys like Marquise Goodwin, and reassuring that quarterback spot with Brian Hoyer and also Matt Barkley adding depth.
Jesus Christ.
After Lynch and Shanahan take care of the offseason when it comes to re-signing free agents, extensions, releasing players, they set their eyes on the draft. And again, like previous regime, guess what they do? They decide to make a trade. If you look on your screen right here, 49ers trade their 3rd round pick from the Chicago Bears to the Seattle Seahawks for their 1st round pick that originally was the Atlanta Falcons. Now, what did they do with this 1st round pick? They turn around and they got Reuben Foster with it. Now, again, this is the reason why I said a lot of you guys are screaming, get more picks, get more picks. In theory, if you get more picks, you're supposed to be good, right? All those picks are supposed to be good, but it doesn't work out this way. And it's a clear example of that, where Reuben Foster, a guy with a lot of talent, had a very off-the-field troubling track record, man. I mean, it's just unfortunate. He wasn't injury-prone or nothing like that. It was just off-the-field incidents, and you lose out here. Sometimes you got to ask yourself, is one quality player better than 2 or 3 risky players? So again, it didn't work out here. But what a guy they did hit money on, they hit with Solomon Thomas. Solomon Thomas, over his career, he has been mediocre at best. But again, you're adding a guy who was in college, was like an All-American, came in here. You're adding depth, okay? Now you got Armick Armstead, you took in 2015. Now you turn around, you also have Let's see. You got my man DeFoster as well. Now you add Thomas into the mix. Now that defensive line is built up with All-American from college. It doesn't necessarily translate into the NFL, but you're building quality depth, quality pieces. Now, if you look on your screen as well, you'll also see George Kittles, a guy taken in the 5th round. Not just sitting here picking people because they're a hometown kid, like, Will Greer or anybody like that. Actually doing your research, actually trying to make the most out of each and every pick. And this guy was a home run hitter for those guys this year. So again, I'll say they nailed the draft with the exception of Reuben Foster. Other than that, they add quality depth when it comes to that tight end spot and also to that defensive line spot.
You like that? You like that?
So with all those moves being made in the offseason, from free agents resigning, extensions, all that good stuff, then turn around, nailing the draft, they're supposed to be a Super Bowl winning team, right? Yeah, immediately. No, it doesn't happen that way. They became 6-10 that year, but if you look on your screen, they actually did the best that they did in a while, okay? They were 12th in total offense, 9th in passing offense, 21st in rushing offense. On defense, they were 24th in total D, 22nd in passing defense, 22nd in rushing defense. A lot of you guys are sitting there, oh man, the reason why they got so good because they did tank jobs. No, they didn't do no tank jobs. A lot of this stuff takes time. Also, you're going to see here later on down the road, injuries, stuff like that. Okay, you just can't control it. But Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch's first year at GM and head coach actually had these guys clicking to somewhat of a cylinder. So I got to honestly say these were good moves, and you can see the progression in the team. And this is one of the things I was saying about the Carolina Panthers, man. Don't expect because my man coming here with a good game plan. I expect to see, this is my plan right here. I expect for the Carolina Panthers to come out. Look, they were 12th in total offense. They were 9th in passing offense. They were 21st in defense. These guys were clicking. Okay, these guys were clicking on offense, and they were in the middle of the road when it came to defense, and they still winded up 6-10. Okay, so I kind of feel like that's how it's gonna kind of go with our regime, you know what I mean, when it comes to Matt Rule and his new offense and all that stuff. But you can see that they had the pieces for the future. And not only did they have the pieces for the future, they also made another trade.
Wake up!
So October 31st, 2017, the 49ers traded away their 2nd round pick to get Jimmy Garoppolo, a guy who they believe will be the future of the 49ers organization. So again, what did they do so far that the Carolina Panthers can take from? In the offseason, prior to the draft, they re-signed quality depth. They released pieces that weren't clicking no more. Guess what else they did? They got offered extensions. They also offered just free agent re-signing, quality pieces, building through the trenches. Offensive line added depth, defensive line added depth. They drafted pieces. Now, they were hit and miss when it comes to certain players, but one thing they did hit on was that defensive line. All-American talent as backups. All-American talent as starters. Okay? And also, guess what they did? They made the necessary trades. At times, when it came to making trades, you got to pull the trigger. I mean, take the emotion out of it. Make the trade. They traded for Jimmy Garoppolo. They also traded for Reuben Foster. They traded for Joshua Garrett. Both of those guys turned out to either be an injury prone. Other guy turned out to be off the field problems. But again, they had to find out. Their heart were in the right place. Okay, let's say their heart were in the right place. It just didn't turn out the right place. Now, the move that they also did, they drafted well. Not only did they draft it for the D-line, they got the tight end spot as well. Last but not least, they turned around and they scrapped in and brought in a good GM. Okay, when you bring in a good GM, you also bring in a good head coach as well. So when it comes to that GM spot, if you don't have a guy who has eye for talent, not only just an eye for talent for the draft, and this is what kind of concerned me about Tepper. He said Marty Herney is a guy who is a good drafter. Well, okay, that's one aspect of GMing. I need you to be more than just a good drafter. The thing that you've seen with Lynch, they would turn around, sign quality guys. Marquise Goodwin. Okay, you were seeing other guys get signed as well. So again, having a good GM has a lot more to do with just drafting. It also do with evaluating your team talent and also future prospects.
Yes!
Moving on to 2018, you got your star quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo at the end of the season. So what do? You sign him to a 5-year extension as long as well, bring in offensive linemen, bring in centers as well. And guess what else you do? Not only do you bring in centers, you also you sign extensions to Marquise Goodwin, give him extension. You sign Richard Sherman in a 3-year deal. Not only do you bring in Richard Sherman, then you turn around and sign other offensive guard, you sign defensive guard, you bring in more firepower in that backfield, Jared McKinnon, and also that Monstreet guy, that nobody never heard of to this year, a guy who's been on the roster for a minute. You resign him to extension. Anybody could easily say, oh, he's a practice squad guy, let me cut him. They resign again, GMing. If you want to rebuild this team, you got to have quality GMing. All these moves were made, I'm going to say it again, all these moves were made prior to the draft. Now, in this year's draft, they turn around and guess who they take? They turn around and they take my man Mike McCliskey. All right, now, he was a first-round pick offensive tackle, and guess what? He winded up in 2018. Yeah, he was on an all-pro team. So, all-rookie pro team, excuse me. Again, this is the kind of thing that you need when it comes to the GM side of the ball, looking at talent, doing evaluations. Not only did they draft him, they turned around, added more pieces to that defense as well. But he was the highlight of that draft. Now, Arik Armstead picked up his fifth-year option as well prior to the draft. More firepower on that D-line. A guy who was another first-rounder. So right now, you got 4 first-round picks all the way up until 2018 on that defensive line, just waiting, salivating for a damn quarterback to do their job on offense. Now, here's the unfortunate part. They were ready. They made the pieces. My man Lynch went out. They got him. He's doing his job as a GM. Kyle Shanahan putting the ball in places. He revamped that offense. And then your star quarterback gets hurt. Yeah, so went 2-14 this year as well. Nick Mullins was in the spot. And again, you can't predict these things. They went 4-12. You can't predict it. They were 13th in total offense that year. They were 4th in total passing offense, 14th in rushing defense. They still were doing good. This is how you know your coach is worth a damn. When your starter gets hurt and your team still ends up with a 13th total offense that year. Imagine if Garoppolo stayed healthy, where these guys would have been. But Kyle Shanahan was not only relying on him, he was also implementing his system, meaning whoever's going to be in there, I'm going to give them a chance to succeed. Now, obviously, talent rules out of everything, but I can put you in the best position. And even with my man Garoppolo out, they still with a 13th total offense, 16th total defense, 15th passing defense, 13th rushing defense. Again, man, I mean, GMing and coaching has a lot to do with this rebuild. Now, unfortunate things like injuries, off-the-field conduct, you can't predict. If the Carolina Panthers want to rebuild this team, number one thing they have to do, fix the trenches. You have to hire a competent GM and coach. We don't know what we have just yet in my man Rule, and I believe that he will bring some firepower to the offense, but you also have to have a competent GM who can go through that roster with a fine-tooth comb and make the right moves. Somebody who can go through that free agency class and not only look at all the big names. A lot of you guys just want to look at the big name. Look at the small names and see value in that. A GM who can comb through the draft. I don't want I know Tapper said it again. I want him because he's a hell of a GM. Well, there's more things that GM does than just go through drafts. So if he can't do all of that, then it's time to look somewhere else.
Perfect.
So the third thing you need to do, after you fix the trenches, after you turn around and hire a competent GM, competent coach, you need to choose your franchise quarterback. Simple as that, man. If you don't have a franchise quarterback, you've seen what happened the first 2 years with this 49 organization. They were kind of in a tailspin. No disrespect to Kaepernick, but he just wasn't cutting it, man. He wasn't cutting it the first 2 years. They went a different direction. 2017, traded and got Garoppolo, okay? And even with Garoppolo out, because they had a hell of a head coach and his system was so good, they were still top of the offense. All they needed was that franchise quarterback. Also, the fourth thing you need to have is take care in-house. As I was just saying, extensions, re-signing players, free agency. Fifth thing you need to have, you need to make the necessary trades. Make the necessary trades. A lot of you guys get emotionally attached. Listen, everything I've been telling you so far, this is what they've been doing for the last 4 or 5 years. Making necessary trades, signing in-house, and then last but not least, you got to be patient. You got to be patient, man. I wonder how many fans actually stuck through this whole transitional phase right here. being patient, fixing the trenches, hiring competent GM and coach, choosing a franchise quarterback, taking care of in-house extensions, re-signing, free agency, making necessary trades, and being patient. That's the blueprint, y'all. That's the blueprint. And the thing that I like about Lynch and the thing that I like about my man Kyle Shanahan, since they've been with the team, they reiterated this process over and over again. A lot of teams, when it don't work the first time, they panic and they start freelancing and trying all kind of different shit. Stick to the process. Trenches, trenches, trenches. Franchise quarterback, weapons, weapons, weapons. Defense, defense, defense. So last but not least, here we are in 2019. If you look on your screen right here, you'll see again the process starts all over again when it comes to prior to the draft, what they did. Re-signing key free agents. You see up there more offensive linemen, 1-year contracts to Raheem Morristat. Turn around, sign D Ford in a trade with the Kansas City Chiefs. Then turn around, if you look on your screen again, what did it do? Bring in Nick Bosa, Jalen Hurts wide receiver, Deebo Samuel. Tell me, have you not heard of Deebo Samuel and Nick Bosa this year? Impact players. Oh, at the bottom of your screen, if you see, picked up a 5th-year option. DeForest Buckner, also re-signing Ben Garland. Yeah, offensive line for the Falcons. He used to play for the Falcons. Key pieces, key moves, taking care of the trenches, bringing in explosive players, making exchanges, doing what you got to do. Also, not to even mention, on March 14th last year, guess what happened? They brought in Jason Verrett. Jason Verrett was the former Pro Bowler cornerback out of the San Diego Chargers. He ended up tearing up his ACL, but this guy didn't even step on the field just yet. So they're just going to get that much better. The formula is simple, y'all. I just told you, and I'm not going to keep repeating it. You got to take care of your house, man. Bring in competent players. Competent GMs, competent owners. You got to take care of the trenches. You got to have a franchise quarterback. You got to make necessary trades. You got to sign the necessary free agencies. You got to be patient. If you're not willing to do that, then you're not going to be a winning organization. You're not going to be a winning fan base. I just sit up here for the last 20-something minutes telling you over and over again since 2015 what they've been doing. They've been repeating the process over and over again. And you know, when you do something over and over again, you get better at it. Nobody steps in nobody goes to a gym and automatically you become strong. It's when you keep repeating it, you build yourself up into a franchise championship contender. So if the Carolina Panthers want to be a contender, follow the blueprint that I just laid out for you. Excuse me, that the 49ers just laid out for you. I'm your host, Grande Gato. Make sure you get in the comment section. Make sure you subscribe if you're new to the channel. Happy Valentine's Day, man. Love you all, man. Let's get up out of here. Let the church say that. Now available for purchase. Keep Pounding TV ringtone and theme song on all your major streaming platforms: Apple Music, Spotify, Deezer, Google Play Store, and many more. Also, you can order directly from Chadzilla Beats on Instagram. Be sure to follow for all your local instrumentals and beats as well. Pause up and keep pounding.